I was interested when I saw this particular piece as an image, and I was initially juroring because what I found fascinating by it is that it is basically fused glass on top of animal hide. It's an axis deer by Sherry Zog, and it is put on the hide of an axis deer. I was a little perplexed by it at first, but I really did want to see close up and what the work actually looked like close up. And so I really wanted to have one example of her works in the exhibition. This is a piece by Nan Martin. Nan works in a pretty innovative sort of way. She takes and begins to sort of form these body-like pieces and parts, but she does it with wire. So it's as though she's trying to form something as a mass out of line almost. And then she will put cast faces into her particular work. This particular piece is called COVIDized, and it's covered with this sort of fabric resin. But Nan's work I've always enjoyed, and I think she should have a lot of recognition for what she's doing because I think she's working very innovatively, but like so many people, this is the kind of thing when a collector were to take a look at it and say, how am I going to display this? Where am I going to put this? But I think she's doing some very, very creative things. This is a photograph by Tina Alvarez called Feeling the Blues. When I first looked at it, I saw all of these wonderful sort of textures that are caught in the paint, on the rope, and so on. But as I began to look at it, even though it's a fairly flat surface, it began to take on a very, very landscape sort of quality. This form in the foreground, and the colors and the way that those colors have weathered with time, which is captured in this photograph, seem to recede like water into a distance to a shoreline and then a sky off beyond that. And it was a piece that even though at first it seemed very flat, the more I looked at it, the more depth it tended to have. And so I was very impressed with her work. A couple of pieces that are sculptural that I think were very nice. Diane Allison's Sunset Sail. I really studied this piece for quite a while. It's cold glass, cold work glass, so there are layers in there, and the glass captures all kinds of colors depending on the colors that it's exposed to. If it was exposed to outdoor light, those colors would be very, very different than indoor light. And as most physics people will tell you, each color you see in there is really what represents a different gas in our atmosphere. So each gas gives off a different color when it's reflected like that. In the same that we would see a rainbow, all of those different colors represent the various gases that make up the atmosphere around the Earth. So very, very nice piece by Diane Allison. I'm also fascinated in this cold luster glaze. Linda Chitsy is this piece called Bliss. Getting a luster glaze can be problematic. I know Linda has seemed to perfect that to a great extent, and it has this, as a result, this wonderful surface that makes you just want to pick it up and touch it and handle it and look at all the colors that are happening in there. This also is a sculptural piece that really changes under different lights. And so it takes on very differing personalities depending on where you will put it. take also and look at this wonderful photograph, because even though it's been enhanced, I looked at it and I thought, is this a drawing at first? This wonderful reaching out photograph by Denise Hempford. And these wonderful, wonderful horses that are relating to each other. In this particular case, I think this is very well presented also, that idea of the black horse and the white horse and the white mat and the simple black frame. This sort of in and out works very, very well, and I really was drawn to this particular piece. It takes a sophistication that is being exhibited in the photograph, but it's been minimalized in terms of just surrounding it with white, so that we're really caught up at just looking at these wonderful, wonderful animals. Because when we see horses, we tend to see them in a field, we see them running, we see them in a barn, and so to see them in just this stark white background, I think is really quite enjoyable.